Welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas Fletcher and I'm the host of the LCSW network. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor by smashing that like button, by sharing this video with your social work colleagues and friends, and by subscribing to the channel. The purpose of this channel is to create a community of hope and support where social workers can come together for relevant news, information, and inspiration. Okay, let's get to today's topic. Before we begin today's topic, just a standard disclaimer that this video is not being sponsored, endorsed, or promoted by the Department of Defense, the U.S. Army, the National Guard Bureau, or the California National Guard. And the opinions stated in this video are mine alone. Okay, so today I want to discuss serving as a uniformed social worker in the Army National Guard. Before I discuss working as a social worker in the National Guard, I think it's important to discuss exactly what is the National Guard and how it fits into the total U.S. Army structure. The U.S. National Guard is part of the reserve components of the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force. It is a military reserve force composed of National Guard military members or units of each state and the territories of Guam, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, for a total of 54 separate organizations. All members of the National Guard are also members of the Organized Militia of the United States, as defined by 10 U.S. Code 246. National Guard units are under the dual control of the state governments and the federal government. The majority of National Guard soldiers and airmen hold a civilian job full-time while serving part-time as a National Guard member. Part-time guardsmen, also called M-Day soldiers like myself, are augmented by a full-time cadre of active guard reserve, otherwise known as AGR, personnel in both the Army National Guard and the Air National Guard, plus Army Reserve technicians in the Army National Guard and Air Reserve technicians in the Air National Guard. The National Guard is a joint activity of the U.S. Department of Defense, composed of reserve components of the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force, namely the Army National Guard and the Air National Guard, respectively. The National Guard traces its history all the way back to 1636, when the first colony-wide militia was formed in Massachusetts. All right, so let's talk about the mission of the National Guard. The primary mission of the Army National Guard is to respond to domestic emergencies and disasters, such as those caused by hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, and fires, as well as civil disturbance and unrest. Each U.S. state and territory has an Army and Air National Guard that is under the command of the governor to respond to these natural and man-made disasters. During national emergencies and times of war, the National Guard of each state can be mobilized to federal or Title X status by the President of the United States through the Secretary of Defense and through the Secretary of the Army. Just a fun fact, the District of Columbia is the only jurisdiction where the President of the United States is the direct commander of the National Guard, since it is not a state. So let's talk about what it's like to serve in the Army National Guard. So I'm coming up on my 9-year anniversary today, actually, December 2nd. On December 2nd in 2011, I took the oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States as an Army soldier. So my military occupational status, or MOS, is 67 Delta, which is Behavioral Health Officer. My area of concentration, or AOC, is 73 Alpha, which is Social Work Officer, or social work. So how did I become an Army National Guard behavioral health social work officer? The first step was I had to talk to an Army National Guard AMED recruiter. AMED stands for the Army Medical Department. If I had gone to an Army infantry or field artillery recruiter, they wouldn't have been able to help me join as a social worker. Okay? So if you are a licensed clinical social worker interested in joining the Army National Guard, you must find an Army National Guard AMED recruiter. The easiest way to find one in your state is to do a Google search, or you can go to the Army National Guard's website at nationalguard.com. The basic requirement that you will need in hand before you speak to the recruiter is a fully independent or advanced practice social work license. The reason I'm stating it this way is that my LMSW from the state of New York did not qualify me to join the Army because the highest social work license in the state of New York is the LCSW-R. Once you have your state's highest independent license, your recruiter will go over the application process, which includes a 50-plus page background application, medical evaluation, and you will also have to write a brief statement on why you want to join the Army Medical Service Corps branch of the Army National Guard. After you pass the background check, pass the medical evaluation, and get any necessary waivers for medical or age, if you are over the age of 42, you will take the oath of office to defend the U.S. Constitution, and you will get your commission signed by the President of the United States, who is the Commander-in-Chief. Because the Army National Guard is a dual component between each state and the federal government, your application and commission has to be signed off by the state's Adjutant General, who serves as the governor's top military advisor and commander of the state's National Guard troops, and by the National Guard Bureau in Washington, D.C. So I'm sure you all want to know what Army National Guard social workers actually do. All right. So we have to complete all of the monthly drill trainings that all Army National Guard service members have to complete, which includes remaining proficient in national security trainings, anti-terrorism trainings, biannual physical fitness trainings. We have to complete annual medical exams called physical health assessments, annual individual weapons qualification, either on the M4 or M17. Complete training in defense and support of civil authorities, or we call it DISCA. Some of us, like myself, have taken driver's training in different Army tactical vehicles and get a license to drive these special tactical vehicles. And there's many more trainings. I'm just scratching the surface here. Army National Guard service members also have an annual training that usually lasts for 2 weeks, where we may train for deployments, responding to natural and man-made disasters, or sustaining operations for other units. Army National Guard service members are also called up to duty, active duty, to respond to national emergencies like COVID-19 in 2020. I was called up and I had to serve on a COVID-19 medical strike team for about 70 days. Another thing that Army National Guard service members are frequently called up, especially in California, are responding to our wildfires, which unfortunately are an annual event, an annual season. As well as civil unrest. 2020 was a year where the whole state of the California National Guard was called up. Everybody who wasn't already serving on a COVID-19 mission, everybody else was called up to respond to the civil unrest that happened at the end of May this year. So as National Guard social workers, we provide emotional support and resources to service members in our units. as well as providing classes on resilience, suicide prevention, and wellness. When troops are called up for deployment, Army National Guard social workers provide pre-deployment screenings, evaluations, and assessments for service members that are flagged for behavioral health conditions that may become exacerbated during austere deployment conditions. Some states, including California, even have full-time Army National Guard social workers whose status is considered state active duty. Their responsibilities include providing crisis intervention, referral to VA, military treatment facilities, and civilian health care facilities, as well as providing ongoing care and case management. Some part-time and full-time Army National Guard social workers even have the opportunity to deploy with select Army National Guard units to provide the same behavioral health care services that active duty Army social workers provide in active duty military treatment facilities and deployment bases. So what are the pros and cons of serving in the Army National Guard as a part-time Army social worker? Again, these are all my opinions. So let's start with the pros. The opportunity to serve your community, your state, and your country. You will also get the opportunity to travel to other military bases across the country to complete Basic Officer Leadership course, otherwise known as BULLOC, and Captain's Career course at Fort Sam Houston. And there are other opportunities to go to other Army schoolhouses to study things like the Combat Operations Stress Control course. But there's so many trainings that we can get outside of the field of social work. I know one of my battle buddies talked about going to jump school, completing air assault school. So if you're adventurous, the sky is really the limit, you know. Let's see what else. You will also have opportunities to grow as a leader, learn about the profession of arms, military aspects including how to use small arms like the M4 and the M17, as well as other weapons, how to operate different tactical vehicles. So I have a military license to drive a Humvee as well as a military field ambulance. So that's pretty cool. At the human and psychosocial level, as a social worker, you will begin to understand what military service members go through during inactive duty trainings and annual training periods. If you are fortunate enough to be able to deploy with an Army National Guard unit, you will truly understand what our active duty troops experience, which includes factors of resilience, as well as factors that may result in physical and mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, PTSD, and other conditions. Other benefits include the health profession officer bonuses, which generally equal between $15,000 to $20,000 per year. Plus, you will receive drill pay for the monthly inactive duty trainings. You will also get paid for the 2 to 3 weeks of annual training that you participate in. If you get put on federal active duty orders for more than 30 days, that will entitle you to a benefit called BAH, which is Basic Allowance for Housing, which is a tax-free entitlement. Also, if you hold a board certification in social work, otherwise known as the BCD, Board Certified Diplomat, you will also get up to $6,000 bonus pay for a 1-year deployment, or $500 a month. If you are a federal employee, such as a VA social worker, such as myself, you will also get 120 hours of paid military leave, which you can use to cover up to 3 weeks of military training. All right, so let's discuss the cons. The cons of serving as a social worker in the Army National Guard are time away from family, friends, hobbies, and your business interests, as well as your civilian social work practice. And this can be particularly critical if you are in a private practice, especially if you're in a solo private practice. This could potentially be very, very difficult for your practice, you know, for your clients, as well as for your overall household income. In a year like 2020, it can be very challenging to leave your family, your friends, your civilian employer to respond to things like COVID-19 medical duty, civil unrest after the George Floyd murder, and the wildfires in Northern and Central California. In summary, though, my opinion is that the pros outweigh the cons. And honestly, guys, I feel very, very privileged to serve as an Army National Guard behavioral health social work officer. Okay, let me know your thoughts about this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for all that you do for your clients, your agency, and for the profession. Please continue to support each other and yourselves. Bye for now.